So here's a shocker. Your lower body strength is directly correlated with your longevity. And that's not just how long you're going to live, but how well you're going to live. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a burden on my family. And I want to play as long and strong as I possibly can. So I think we're all on the same page. We're going to divide 4 different exercises up into when should you, why should you, what if you shouldn't, and who would that be? Hey, I'm Deborah Atkinson. I'm the founder of Flipping 50. I've been doing this now for almost 42 years. And that means full-time teaching it, starting as an instructor. Many of you probably also were a fitness instructor, a personal trainer, then a medical exercise specialist, and a senior lecturer in kinesiology at Iowa State University for 15 years. And to best-selling book author and international trainer of trainers in some of the largest or well-known fitness association in the world. So a lot of science has to go into all of those positions. What I'm going to share with you here is 4 moves that are really well-known, common, and a little bit trendy and very sexy right now. And I think what you want to know is not what's a good lower body exercise, but you want to know what's a good lower body exercise for me right now. And why would this one be better than that one? We're going to break down 4 moves. The deadlift, which is having a day right now. It's very sexy. The squat, which, believe it or not, if you think you can or you can't, you do. You sit down on the toilet more than once a day, and you get up and down out of chairs and into cars. So we ought to be able to do that well. We're going to talk about the Romanian deadlift. It's called the RDL. And we're going to talk about one of my faves, spoiler alert, the single leg deadlift. And when, in what order would I introduce them to a brand new client? So today, we're not going to talk about just the sequence during a workout. I'm really talking about the longevity of your exercise life. When would I start someone with a deadlift versus a squat, if I would do that, by the way? And when would I introduce a deadlift, or when would I say, this one is not appropriate for you? So I'm going to break it all down here and show you some demonstrations and talk a little bit about the pros and cons of each one of these moves and what they actually work on and focus on so that you can choose for yourself appropriately. Even if you're already doing one of those that might be putting you at risk, it's a good time to say, whoa, maybe I need to take a break from doing that and train for some mobility, better movement around my joints before I can do that one really safely, especially if you've just had that gut feeling, you know what, this one doesn't always feel good, but you think you should be doing it because of your metabolism or the major muscle groups that it works. Let's decide right here and now that we want for you the safest and most effective exercises based on your highest priorities. Maybe that's bone density, maybe it's metabolism, and hey, what woman doesn't want it all? Let's go through these right now. So when I'm just like this, and I'm actually in front of my laptop thinking about how do I want to program, whether it's for a one-on-one client or it's coming up with a group training program, I think about who is this for? What is the purpose? And what is the primary priority of who I'm working with? And what are their limitations? That's what you need to know about yourself. So be your own personal trainer. I'm going to walk you through these 4 moves, when I choose them, who they're ideal for, and when they not be appropriate. Number 1 is the squat. So major muscle groups, quadriceps, top of your thigh, and your glutes. Now, other muscles come into play, but these are the ones you're really working. And these are 2 of the largest set of muscles in your body. very much responsible for metabolism. And if we're working these, we're also loading. When we do a squat, we're loading the lumbar spine and the total hip, which you'll get back in your DEXA scan, and you'll know these are important. And I was making a great improvement because of my squats. So just so that you know what they're helping you with, either metabolism and or they're helping you with bone density, both are true. And we do this movement up and down out of chairs all day, sitting, standing, going to the bathroom, getting out of bed, getting into your car. We should do this one well. The thing you might want to keep in mind is if you have knee issues, you may want to limit your range of motion. The depth of your squat, for some people, will see them come all the way down and they'll drop their hips really lower than their knees. You don't need to do that. And you may put a little more stress on your knees unnecessarily. What I want you to do, if you're doing it with load, not because you want mobility from it, you're going to come down as low as you safely can and comfortably. So by safely, I meant where you're not doing any damage. There's no pain, no discomfort in your knees, and you're absolutely sure your weight's back on your heels. You're taking your hips behind you so that you're not putting undue pressure in your knees. You shouldn't feel the weight really heavily in your quads. You should feel it in your glutes, sitting back in a chair. So we would practice those first, and that would be one of the major movements that you do in a strength training workout. Coming up next, we're going to go to the Romanian deadlift. Now, this one also, like the squat, starts upright. So with a squat, we start standing, we come down, and then come back up. With the Romanian deadlift, we do that as well, but the difference is it's not like sitting in a chair. Instead, we're hinging at the hip. So we get used to keeping the back long and extended with a slight arch in the back, always keeping ourselves neutral. And we want to come down to hinging at the hip, and we don't need to go all the way. So you overachievers and type A's, I know you because I am you. We have to keep ourselves from going too low. We sometimes think if a little is good, more must be better. Not true. What I want you to do is focus on if your hamstrings insert into your glutes. That is called the origin of the hamstring. The insertion is down below where they're inserted over your knee. We want to get that strong, this connection from the origin into the glute, and you'll be much less likely to pull a muscle high in the hamstring or in the glute, especially if you slip or trip on ice or a little bit of water on the floor. You could catch yourself and right yourself without risking any damage because you've got a strong connection there. Romanian deadlifts are also great for kind of employing great form so that if you do decide you want to go on and do the full on deadlift, you've got good form ready to do it. So you're going to practice your hip hinging with the Romanian deadlift. We start in an upright position. You slightly bend your knees, bringing your hinge down from your hip with a straight back and then coming back up. Again, don't overdo it, but that is a great exercise. It's not that heavy, so you don't have to go that heavy. You're training good form. If you have a tendency or a history of high hamstring pulls, lower back issues, you keep that range of motion very small and gradually increase it, but we're only going to about 30, 45 degrees at most. We're not trying to bring the back parallel to the floor. Keep that in mind. Number 3 is single leg deadlift. Now, very few people I see do this. I love it for my clients, especially my female midlife clients who need to get in touch with their core again. They need pelvic stability. And here's the key. We stand and then we walk on one leg. So you step, you swing the other leg through. You step, you swing the other leg through. When we walk, when we run, maybe you don't run, but when you walk, you are on one leg a lot of the time as the other leg swings through. We need pelvic stability even for walking in order to feel better balance, more stable, better confidence as we age. And we are less likely to get hurt if we have that pelvic stability. If you do yoga, you've got a degree of that. And these single leg deadlifts will be easier. So as I stand on my left leg, I'm going to hold a weight with my right leg, and the other hand is just on my hip. So it's kind of crossing, which keeps my body in better balance. You're limiting the range of motion 20 to 30 degrees. We start in an upright position, we come down, and then we come back up with a little more power. So we go down, pause right there, and then come up. And that power on the way up also is great for the strength, the power that we want in those muscles to begin strengthening around the total hip joint again, thinking about bone density and about protecting ourselves. So I love the single leg deadlift, and it also allows you to see how strong am I and how is my balance from right to left. The fourth exercise is the conventional deadlift. It starts on the ground. This is what makes it an advanced lift. And yet I'm seeing women who are not necessarily experienced advanced lifters be told or taught how to do it, because I think they're seeing it when they scroll on Instagram. And I think their instructors or trainers are seeing it there too, but you have to earn it. You need to earn your ability or your right to do this. Now, you may be able to quote unquote do it, but the thing is, are you setting yourself up for an injury if you try to do that before you have the mobility in the hip and the lower back in order to do it safely? So as you start from the floor, there is actually a bar that will help protect you a little bit. You can hold dumbbells, you can hold kettlebells in your hands. The weight you carry doesn't matter what shape it's in, but when you come down, you are coming all the way to the floor. So if you lose range of motion and you start rounding the back, I would say it's not your business to do that yet. Do the Romanian deadlifts, come down a little bit lower and back up, begin to buy that and get more mobility in your hip first. Even more stretching, more yoga in your life may support you. So there you have it. The squat, the RDL, the Romanian deadlift, the single leg deadlift, and the traditional or conventional deadlift. When to do them, why to do them. The last one, the conventional deadlift, does work the lower back and mid back, as well as the glutes and the quadriceps and the hamstrings. There are a lot of major muscles there. It's a big bang for the buck. However, you can't just buy all those muscles if, again, you haven't earned the range of motion. So the idea is to get stronger, not get hurt. Make sure you're starting with the right exercise. So there you have it. But after you've seen them, your number one question almost always will be, well, how many? How often? What should I do? So when you're doing lower body exercises, we have a certain amount of volume that we want to get into an exercise week in order to support our lean body mass, our metabolism, and if you have a bone density goal, and I would say most of us do or should, we want to do at least twice weekly total body workouts. And that means we're going to hit the major muscles in our lower body, which are the glutes, the quadriceps, top of the thigh, hamstrings, and the back of the thigh. Now, your lower body, your lower leg, your calf is working a little bit because as we flex and extend the ankle, the knee, and the hip, if the muscles of the calf cross the ankle and the knee, we have a little interaction there, but they're not major players. They're just there for stability. We want to look at making sure we're hitting those exercises. So we'd want to do a squat, and we might also want to do a hamstring curl, which we haven't talked about here. We're really talking here about standing exercises so that we can resist gravity and get a little stronger. But we still do want to integrate hamstring curls, maybe leg extension. I'm not a huge fan of that. If we do it, I do one leg at a time, and I do a limited range of motion. Most of us are quad dominant. I'll say that again from earlier in this video. We don't need to overwork the quads because we're already strong there. We're not as strong in the hamstrings, and that can be two things. It could be the quads are just that much stronger, or the hamstrings are that much weaker. And that is usually the case. Now, it could be a combination of both. But what I like to see for knee health, your knees will suffer if this gets too far out of ratio. Your quads will always be slightly stronger because we move forward. We do that motion so much more. But we need to have a strong ratio of the right level, about 2 to 3. But most of us don't do a lot of hamstring related work. We need to do some hamstring, some hip extension, and focus on that. So anytime you do a squat, you want to make sure you do something for your hamstrings, like a hamstring curl. Could be on a machine or it could be on a ball. I hope this has been helpful in making you decide, should I start with squats? Should I start with deadlifts? If one of those moves doesn't feel good, where do I go next? Let me know what your questions are down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and you can hit that bell and you'll get notified every time there's a brand new video. Here's to our longevity and strong lower bodies.